It wouldn't be an understatement to consider SCP-3000 the most dangerous of all creatures on the planet. Here are the top 5 terrifying ways that it can end the world. Number 5 on this list is Y909. Y909 is just a mild byproduct of this creature that could ultimately end the world. Villains Wiki writes, the Foundation discovered the eel released a gas while eating and that this gas had powerful amnestic effects. They called it Y909 and chose to use it in their experiences. Thus, the area in which SCP-3000 resides is sealed off and regularly patrolled by Foundation personnel. No civilians are permitted to enter the area, and personnel must seek permission before having contact with this SCP. The Foundation submarine SCP-F Eremita is tasked with carrying out the Aztec protocol to extract Y909 from the creature. Aztec consists of the Eremita feeding the D-Class personnel to SCP-3000, causing SCP-3000 to excrete Y909. Divers will then be dispatched to collect the substance during 3000's digestive process, a gas that causes amnesia. So if this creature goes on a feeding frenzy and we're around the premises, boom, we all just forget where we are and what we're doing. Literally everything. We also don't know whether or not SCP-3000 can use this on command, or if it's just simply a byproduct of eating and it can't control it. But if it can control it, then we're in even more trouble. Also, on a separate note, the Foundation is currently harvesting this Y909 and using it for their own purposes. That's okay, fine, but imagine if it got into the wrong hands. Imagine if some terror group finds a way to put it in our water and the entire world just forgets where the hell they are and what they were doing. Human intervention could end the world with this one, and it could be totally separate from this creature altogether. Number 4 on this list is the psychic abilities. SCP-3000, among its many powers and abilities, is believed to have some psychic powers. Similar to Cthulhu and how it operates, it's believed that this godlike serpent can talk to people telepathically. No one is entirely sure exactly how the process works or how the serpent chooses who to speak to, although it's pretty clear that proximity to the beast certainly plays a role, and if you were 3,000 kilometers away, for instance, you shouldn't be in any harm's way. If you're close enough to see this thing with your own 2 eyes though, you could be in some serious danger. Villains Wiki says, SCP-3000 appears to have psychic abilities as demonstrated when a Foundation agent named Williams was exposed to it and began smashing his head against the submarine window before dying while whispering, "There's nothing." This creature literally made someone else kill themselves by means of smashing their head against a wall. Safe to say it's pretty dangerous. But how could this end the world? Well, if this thing is just capable of getting inside our brains and making us do stuff like that, then there's literally no defense that we could put up that would stop it. Psychic powers and how to deal with them is way out of our capabilities as a species right now, and if this thing truly possesses the powers we think it does, then there's no stopping it. The only thing we do know is that proximity to the creature is important in who gets affected and who doesn't, which is a positive for sure, but ultimately, SCP-3000 doesn't need to mess with all of our minds to take over the world. If it made someone smash their head against the wall, then what's to say that it can't make people do other things? If this psychic ability can manifest itself in the form of mind control, then imagine how quick the world could end if this thing took over the mind of the president or something. Joe Biden now just does what SCP-3000 wants him to do, and if SCP-3000 wants to launch the nukes, then the nukes, they're getting launched. This is one of the scarier ways, in my opinion, that this beast can take over the world, cause there'd be literally nothing we could do to stop it. Number 3 on this list is Fish Revolt. We just looked at the psychic abilities that this creature has and how it pertains to humans, but what about fish? If we believe that SCP-3000 can confuse us humans and trick our minds to a place where we'll do what it wants us to do, then you must assume that the same can apply to fish. Humans are obviously far more intelligent than fish are, and if we can be manipulated to smack our heads against the wall to the point where we literally die, then I think this thing can control a few fishies as well. Well, think about how the world would be if SCP-3000 controlled all of them. At any given moment, it's estimated that there are about 50,000 merchant ships crisscrossing the ocean at one time. On any one of those ships, there will be thousands to millions of dollars worth of supplies and also tons of humans manning that ship. This is also just merchant ships that I'm talking about, and doesn't even add in all of the privately owned boats on the water as well. It also doesn't add in how many people are swimming in the ocean or a natural body of water at one time. I have no idea how we'd ever find out those statistics, but one has to think that the number would be pretty high. Well, either way, every single one of those people, whether they be on a boat or swimming, they're probably gonna die now. Think about it. Every fish that is in the water, from a goldfish to a shark, can now be told to give everything they have at attacking us. If fish organized themselves and all attacked a ship and ate us, then they would in fact win. It would make crossing water literally impossible, and getting supplies would become extremely difficult. Number 2 on this list is sheer size. This one seems pretty obvious, but let me ask everyone watching right now. Do you think that you could take that thing in a fight? If you do, then feel free to leave a detailed comment describing your strategy, because I would love to hear it. I, for one, am going to be tapping out if there's ever a full-on fight with SCP-3000, because it is pretty damn big. There literally isn't a confirmed number right now, but SCP-3000 is estimated at being 600 to 900 kilometers in length. That's pretty long, guys. Let's pull up a map of Canada right now and zoom in on Prince Edward Island. A relatively tiny little province in Canada, but still a notable and sizable landmass nonetheless. That island, that is literally an entire province of Canada, at its longest point, end to end, is 280 kilometers. Meaning that SCP-3000 could be 3 times as long as Prince Edward freaking Island. There's over 150,000 people living on Prince Edward Island right now, guys, and it is far from as full as it could be. Now, for our European viewers, let's move over to Europe and make a comparison there. France, one of the bigger countries in the continent and home to just under 68 million people. At France's widest point, so east to west, it is 950 kilometers wide, meaning that SCP-3000 is just slightly smaller than the width of France, a country with millions and millions of people living in it. There's absolutely no way that we'd ever be able to take this thing in a fight. Oh, and for all those people saying, well, we can just nuke it, let's drop a bunch of bombs on it and it'll be fine. Well, it's believed that this thing is immortal, so there's that as well. And finally, number 1 on this list is hunger. As we just looked at, SCP-3000 is pretty damn massive. Being anywhere from 600 to 900 kilometers in length means that you're lugging a lot of weight behind you. So much weight that we truly can't even begin to comprehend it. Anyways, if you want to be moving anywhere with all of that weight, you're gonna need fuel. Lots and lots of fuel. So much fuel, actually, that the world might not be able to handle it. Okay, so a green anaconda is the largest snake in the entire world. This absolute beast of an animal is about 6 meters in average length and weighs roughly 550 pounds. This is a big animal, guys, and it is a snake that in very rare cases can actually consume an entire human being. On average, these creatures will eat once or twice a week, but have a big meal like a capybara or a wild pig. Well, I was never great at math, but let's test my abilities a little bit. There is 1,000 meters in a kilometer, and if we assume that SCP-3000 is 750 kilometers long, between 600 and 900, then that means that it is also 750,000 meters long, which also means that it is roughly equivalent to 125,000 green anacondas, meaning that it needs to eat 125,000 times what a green anaconda does. Let me ask you, do you think our ocean can sustain a creature of this size eating 125,000 times what a green anaconda does every week? How long until this thing eats literally everything that our ocean has to offer and the entire ecosystem dies? Its hunger alone could completely destroy the ocean's balance and ecosystem and leave the world with no fish at all, which then in turn would cause a domino effect that would ultimately end the world. But there you have it, guys. That is our list of the top 5 terrifying ways SCP-3000 can end the world. Please comment down below what you thought about this list and how you would react if SCP-3000 became a reality. Also, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog, and I will catch you next time.